Stephen, you've won this twice in the past. You're looking to make it 3 in a row. You're certainly in a good position for it. How are you feeling?
No, feeling good. The car's going very good at the moment. Hopefully we can do it third now this time if we can.
Good. And I believe your dad is also on the grid, is he?
Yeah, he's in the grid. He had a problem in qualifying, so he might be starting from the back this time. But yeah, it's a while since we've driven together, so this will be fun again.
How are you feeling about this race today?
Feeling good, yeah. I haven't raced in a year, so it's coming back slowly, the skills and stuff. So I'm a bit more up for today than yesterday. So let's hope we get a good start now and we get a clear run.
You're starting second on the grid, so you're definitely doing all right.
Yeah, not too bad, yeah. But you always want to be first, so we'll do our best.
So Paul, you and I, we know each other for years from racing hill climbing. This is your first year racing in the Leinster Trophy, is it?
That's correct, Karen, yeah. So we've, it's my first year ever circuit racing. It's the first season I've ever done of circuit racing. Fresh challenge, as you know, from hill climbing, it's all over and done and dusted in 60 seconds or less if you're any good. So no, it's great. It's sitting in the car now for 20 minutes, see if I can keep my concentration and try and keep the show on the road, hopefully, which are, that's what we're here for.
So Sylvie, I haven't seen you in years, so I know we used to hill climb together, if you remember. So I'm delighted to see you here this weekend and on the 4th on the grid. How are you feeling about it?
Look, I mean, we're out. I had a mishap. I have an F3 and I had a mishap on Friday, so we had a shoot down. Took this car out of the shed after 2 years. So brushed the covers off me and off the car. Car is running fine. It's not handling quite as good as the F3. So I mean, it's quick in a straight line, but to get around the corners, you're tending to wait for it to you have a lot of understeer.
So Barry, how are you feeling?
Looking forward to this now. A bit apprehensive, but looking just forward to getting underway, get the green lights out, and see what we can do. Go and push forward as best we can at the opening laps, and if we can get a few spaces, then we'll try and defend. But it's going to be very hard to get anything better than a podium. Would be a big push for us, you know.
So last year's winner, you weren't competing this year. You have other commitments. Do you want to tell me a bit about them?
Yeah, I'm racing in British Formula 3 this season, so we're leading the championship, and it was just too much of a risk to come home. Our engines are getting up in mileage, so we've 2 rounds to go, and the next one is next weekend. So it was just too much of a rush to get over and back. So we won it last year. I was happy. So I'm hoping to come back someday to compete for it again, but it just wasn't on the cards this season.
Hard to fit it all in. So what's next for you?
British F3 next weekend at Donington. Yeah, so I'm going travelling in a couple of weeks' time, so it's like 4 weekends. I wouldn't have been at home, so I wanted to take a break from it. It's hard work driving every weekend, but yeah, that's what's next. So I'm leading the championship, and that's what my aim is. So it's to take that away. I didn't want to come over and put my concentration into something else. So yeah, maybe next year I can come back and try and do the double.
Stephen Daly starting this one on pole position. Alongside him, Paul Dagg. Then it's Paul O'Connell, Sylvie Mullins, Barry Rabbitt and Fergus Faherty. So this is it. Dagg's got to get down the outside here, but they've both made clean getaways, and Dagg knows what he's got to do. Daly's got incredible pace in this car, more so even than Dagg, and he's done it. So Dagg's got down the outsides, so that'll give us a little bit of entertainment as the rest come through. Sylvie Mullins in the Formula 1 engine, Gould right in there too, the Red Bull livery car, but he's dropped way back off the line. Unusual to see a hill climb man get a bad start. So Barry Rabbitt, it's up there too. Paul O'Connell, the new Boss Charlotte champion, is there. Then Barry Rabbitt, the little Formula Renault, the Jordan 191 livery car. We're on board with him now as ever. Rabbitt giving great entertainment in car number 27. So this is Shane Rabbitt, this is his brother, the reigning Irish touring car champion, and there goes the Formula 1 engine beast down the outside. Shane Rabbitt having his single-seater debut. Look at Mark Reed, Mick Roach going by him, but Reed right in the mix in the Leastone, built just down the road from Mondello Park, and that car has no right to be up with these machines. And look at that, Roach down the inside now, Barry Rabbitt. Rabbitt goes back at him and tries a switchback, but Roach manages to contain it. So Michael Roach on a wild charge inside the first lap. The 2 F3 cars already easing away, and Dagg still leading this one. And it'll be interesting to see if he can keep Stephen Daly back on board now with Stephen Daly, and you can see the footage, the throttle, brake, all the information right there in the bottom right hand corner. Look at Rabbitt having to go back at Roach, and Roach just blasts away in a straight line. Massive wing on that hill climb spec car in front. And there goes Sylvie Mullins again. It's like a video game. Down the outside of Mark Reed, down the outside of Barry Rabbitt, and down the outside of Michael Roach. See you later, boys. Takes 4 cars. Rabbitt having a go. This is a great scrap in Boss Ireland for the Leinster Trophy, of course. Rabbitt really having a go back at Roach now in the Formula Renault. It'll be a very effective car around the corners, but hasn't got the straight line power. Stephen Daly down the outside on the brakes of Dagg. Not really an attempt, just letting him know he's there, piling the pressure on. Both of these drivers highly talented and hugely experienced, and both former Leinster Trophy winners. So can Dagg make it 2 or can Daly make it 3? Look at Rabbitt on the brakes. He's down the inside of Sylvie Mullins. Is there a problem for Mullins? He's slowing down slightly. Roach goes by. Mark Reed goes by. Having a real go, Mark Reed there in the Leastone Formula 1000. He's the current Moto 1000 champion in the monoposto class in the UK and competing again this year and just having a little bit of fun here. But he's with some very exotic machinery. That's Fergus Faherty right behind him, a former class champion in a Formula 3 car. And look at Reed go. Having a go now, Roach. Roach goes to the outside, doesn't defend, but he doesn't need to. The car's a little bit quicker in a straight line, I feel. Shane Rabbitt right in there too. And there's Faherty down the inside of Reed, goes too wide, takes Roach with him. And Reed says thank you very much. 2 places for him. So great battles really here in Boss Ireland. Barry Rabbitt beginning to ease away. Look at Mark Reed. You can tell he's on the edge, really trying there. A big twitch. And Shane Rabbitt on his single-seater debut, right in the middle of this battle. It's great stuff from him. He's just borrowed this Formula Renault car. Hasn't raced a single-seater before. He's having to go down the inside now of Roach, is he? It looks like he's going to have a go. No, Roach hangs on to it there. And the battle still rages up the front, but Dagg hasn't put a wheel wrong. He's defensive, but he's not over defensive, and he hasn't made any mistakes. This has everyone on their toes because Daly potentially quicker. He was quicker yesterday, but you need to get in the lead. And again, hanging out the tail there is Mark Reed. Great stuff from him. Faherty, nothing he can do about it, even though the F3 car potentially should be a lot quicker. And Shane Rabbitt gets sideways. He's around, literally around, a full 360 for Shane Rabbitt. Down through the gearbox, grabs the gear, and away he goes. Let's watch that from outside. Does he lose a place? It's debatable because that's Hines. It is side by side with him on the way up the hill. We're back on board with Stephen Daly now, and he is beginning to pile the pressure on. He's going to have to do something special here. Oh, it looks like a stone's just hit the lens there, and that the camera's just cracked on Stephen Daly. That might restrict us just a little bit from seeing some more on board, which is a shame. But here we go. They're gone by Dennis Sheehan now in the Formula 4 at 1600, and a big effort now on the brakes down into 7A. Down the outside. Great stuff from Stephen Daly. Tries a switchback, but Dagg is not ruffled at all in the Tim Buckley car. This is great stuff from both of these men. Whoever gets this one will deserve it. They're still together through the right and left. Bahrain's Benz, named after the late Martin Bahrain, the owner of the circuit, of course, and the man who put this extension in back in the late 90s. Another stab down the inside of Daly. They're catching a back marker now. I think it is the Formula Atlantic of Steve Warad, a glorious sounding car. Many memories coming back. Oh, we can see through the crack in the camera now. Great stuff. Back on board and committed stuff as we'd expect from Daly there. Dagg goes defensive, but Daly's out over curbs. He goes, surely there's a move coming here. He's beginning to look very aggressive. Always on the edge of Stephen Daly. The glorious sound of that Formula Atlantic now, but that car very, very old in comparison to these two modern day F3 cars, and he should just let them by. He goes high and wide there, Warad. And Dagg has a stab down the inside, but doesn't get it completed. Gets by him for turn 2, but in fact Warad's not backing out, and I think it does separate them. Stephen Daly being balked there inadvertently, I think, by Warad, but manages to get it all up together and is almost back on the tail of Dagg again. Here's Daly again. He's right with him through Bahrain's Benz, through the right, through the left. Dagg stays to the left to defend. A big go down the inside, but he ends up on the grass as Dagg gives him the big squeeze. So he's almost up the inside, is he? No, Dagg comes across to defend. Dagg said, no, that's my line. And Stephen Daly says, right, I'll go right down the outside and around the outside from Stephen Daly. That is an incredible move. And how he carried that off, I'll never know. Right round the outside of Paul Dagg at Paddock Corner. But Dagg gets a better exit here, and his car is every bit as quick in a straight line. Here he comes with a toe now and pulls out. They're side by side. And Dagg gets the nose ahead as they start. Can he possibly come across the bows of Daly here? They're hard on the brakes down into turn 1. He does, but he goes a little bit wide. He's gone wide there. And Daly kicks the tail out and says, thank you, I'll have that one. Daly takes the lead. Dagg right with him. And I think, ladies and gents, that might be game over. We've seen the pace before that Stephen Daly has. It's a slightly newer car than Paul Dagg's, and he should be able to get away here. But what about Dagg having a go back on the main straight? This is a classic Leinster Trophy battle. We're on board with Barry Rabbitt again. And Rabbitt somehow has managed to get up to 3rd position in this little Formula Renault. He had a massive accident on the trailer with this car and has been fully rebuilt, and he's reliveried it in the 191 Jordan colours. Faherty in 4th place, and Mark Reed incredibly in the little 1 litre Leastone. The car built in County Kildare is right in there too. We're on board again with Shane Rabbitt, the 360 man. He's going to do it again, possibly. Hangs on to it this time, but goes grass cutting on the way out of 7B. So Shane Rabbitt having a very exciting and spectacular debut, and that's Colm Hines gone by again in the big F3000 engine car. There's Keith Sheehan, who went so well in Bishop's Court. Oh, and Sheehan gets out of shape. He's obviously been off the track. Paul O'Connell having a problem there, the new boss champion 2018, pulling off on the outside. But there's Stephen Daly leading now. Keith Sheehan right in there too. Keith Sheehan not too well lately, so we're sending him all our best here at Irish Motorsport TV. Rabbitt now in over the curb, still pushing hard. And could he possibly get a podium? It looks like it in the little Formula Renault. Certainly no match for those F3 cars. He's out of the final corner south side and up through that sequential gearbox now. Faherty there in 4th place, not getting any closer to him, it's got to be said. And still moving around and drifting out of the final corner there. That's Colm Hines now and Shane Rabbitt. A great battle between those two. And Rabbitt's back wing looks like it's collapsed. But the clue is in the surname. He won't give up too easily. Shane Rabbitt on his single-seater debut. Look at Hines getting the big F3000 machine out of shape. They're a bit unwieldy. They're more suited to high-speed, fast circuits than Mondello Park. And the smaller cars, as you can see, tend to be a little bit quicker around here. But they're great to watch. And certainly, as you saw there, just a little bit of a handful. But Colm Hines doing nicely. There's Sam Mansfield in the Finsdown car. And he's been really quick all year. But problems this weekend holding him back, unfortunately. And he was back towards the back of the grid. But he's got that car going again. And is closing this pair down. So Hines in over the curb, Rabbitt even more so. The back wing shouldn't affect him too much. But here he comes on the main straight. Every bit as quick, the Renault. It's not much in it there as they come down towards the first corner. In fact, Hines goes on the inside and defends. Here's our leader, Stephen Daly. Looks like he's on his way to Leinster Trophy win number 3. Incredible stuff from the Dunshaughlin dynasty. And he goes by to start another lap. 33 seconds to go, it says on the clock. So this will be the final lap. Those two still battling away. A great battle there with Shane Rabbitt and Colm Hines. Hines just holding him off, having to guard the inside line on the way down to Callar now. Down through the gears to the slowest part of this corner, the second apex, and again he's getting on the power, but Sam Mansfield charging up to the back of them now in the Radical, the Jonathan Files tended car. So the three of them absolutely together, and they come down into the long left-hander, an off-camber corner when you enter it, but it's important because it leads onto a long uphill straight. Here we go, out onto the international loop, and look at Mansfield, he's come from about 3 or 4 seconds back to right up under what's left of Shane Rabbitt's rear wing now, and through the long right-hand corner out onto the back straight. A drag race when he's trying to get up the inside of Rabbitt there. Mansfield, somebody, and that's the leader right with them. A lot of traffic for Stephen Daly. He's well ahead, but there's not much tarmac for him there. They're all having to go, and he's wondering where to go. I'm sure he's checking the mirrors here, but he's going to go down the inside of Mansfield. Is he into the final corner? He does. This is the last corner, last lap. He doesn't want traffic, but he's managed to get through it beautifully. And the onboard shot. Here comes Stephen Daly to take his 3rd Leinster Trophy win. Dan Daly on the pit wall there, hand in the air. Paul Dagg, what a great drive to second place, and gave us great entertainment early on. And great stuff from the Dalys once again. And Stephen Daly coming home from the UK and taking the win again. Here's Barry Rabbitt for his final lap in the Formula Renault. Just not long after a rebuild, a little bit of testing, and just back out for this meeting. And he will be delighted with a podium up against F3 cars. Front tyre looks like it's beyond its best there as he comes out of the final corner, up to the gears, hand in the air. He's delighted with that, and why wouldn't it be? Rabbitt takes a podium position. So great stuff from Barry Rabbitt in the Jordan 191 liveried Formula Renault. So Stephen Daly takes the win and joins Patsy McGarity as a 3-time Leinster Trophy winner. Paul Dagg is 2nd, Barry Rabbitt 3rd, Fergus Faherty is 4th, local man Mark Reed is 5th, and Colm Hines rounds out the top 6.
What did you think of this race?
Yeah, it was a brilliant race. Paul Dagg made it interesting for Stephen. I've raced with Stephen this year. I raced Stephen for the trophy last year, but Paul definitely made him work for it. But no, I'm delighted to see the 2 Formula 3 cars that I'm racing myself to be able to battle it out for the lead. So they made it entertaining.
For your 2nd race of the season, to come 3rd, you did so well.
Yeah, it was. I made it hard for myself though. I had a litany of problems. I set the brake bias to the rear on the warm-up lap to get a feel for it, and it broke in that position, so I had all rear brakes. On the first lap, the lap timer fell off the steering wheel and was rattling around my legs, so I threw that out at the start, so it's over in the start-finish straight somewhere. And on the 3rd lap, my steering wheel broke. So it was the longest race ever, and then delighted with 3rd.
Well done, you had a great battle, but it just didn't go your way in the end.
No, we did a great race though, in fairness. You know, I have a massive underdog in terms of pace with the car, so it's very hard to hold a car that's 2 seconds a lap faster than behind you for the whole race. And at one point I thought, well, if I've done it for 8 laps, I can probably do it for another few, but he just had so much pace that when the tyres started going off, he just had the drive and I just couldn't hold him back. But even at that, it took him 3 corners to actually pass me, so I can't but be happy with that, with the car we have. It's an older car, it's just not as fast, so happy out, and well done, Stephen.
So you are the proud father today.
Yeah, Stephen, yeah, delighted that he won. Yeah, he worked really hard. He came back from Italy to take part in this race this weekend, so it's great for him to do it, and he loves coming home anyhow to do the races here, so it's great to see him enjoying a 3rd one of them anyhow of the Leinster Trophy.
We were already speaking to your dad, he's as proud as punch. How are you feeling about it?
No, I'm absolutely ecstatic. It's hard to believe at the moment that we've come here and won the Leinster Trophy a 3rd time. There's only 2 people who have ever done it, myself and someone else, so it's an incredible feeling. It was a tough race. Paul really put the test to me today. He got the better start off the line. I really had to pull out all the moves to try and get past him, but it was a fantastic race to watch in the end, and thankfully we got the wins. It's great to put it back to the guys here, the Team Fox Racing, coming over from England to support us and give us a fantastic car off of the whole weekend, a super weekend and super meeting here. So thank you to everyone.
Absolutely.